So I want absolute quiet through this, because this is a real presentation, and all of you will want to have an attentive audience as well, so you need to be listening really carefully. It's complex stuff, so to be able to ask a question at the end, you need to listen really carefully. And I would jot the question down as you go through the presentation. Either type it or jot it down, otherwise you can forget very, very easily. Okay, I'm relying on you because I'm going to be assessing it, so for me to think of a question is quite hard work. So please help me out, think of some questions, and I'll have some as well. So let her know when you're ready to start.
Ready already.
So today I'm going to be talking about acupuncture. Is everyone familiar with acupuncture here? So basically it's the inserting and manipulating of needles into the human body to promote health. The knowledge issue, can you go back? The knowledge issue here is what is it about a scientific explanation that makes it convincing or unconvincing, and the second one I'm going to look at is pseudoscience via science. So the acceptance of acupuncture today is widespread, but we need to know why it works and rather to just accept it as a valid and useful tool. So before I move on, the overview of acupuncture is basically it views sickness as an energetic imbalance, and to promote health, it alleviates pain and suffering through the distribution of qi, which means energy. And here's all the points where the needles would insert if to the pain. The ways of knowing I'm going to look at is language. Language is the main way we acquire knowledge around the world through communication and thoughts. But however, there's a problem with language. This is a poster promoting acupuncture. I'd like to focus on the right-hand side where it states complex cases, fewer needles, quicker, less, highly effective. These are all really vague words, and it depends on the context in which it's said. Different people would have different ideas of what these words imply. For example, my version of highly effective would be different to yours. And it just depends on the context. And the next one I'm going to look at is this. It states that there is a guarantee for faster relief. Faster, again, is vague, and the guarantee is ambiguous because it does not state what the guarantee is for, whether it's money back or more treatments to ensure that you recover. So the next one I'm going to look at is emotion. A balanced intellectual outlook would require emotion as well as reason in your thoughts. However, emotion is again an obstacle to knowledge because it can give you bad reasons to justify what your thoughts are, your pre-existing prejudices. And the idea of how we perceive things may be influenced by strong emotions, and this is called emotional coloring, and it can cloud our judgments. So the question for acupuncture here is the correlation and causation. Correlation does not prove causation. Just because the patient feels better after acupuncture treatment does not necessarily mean that it is the acupuncture that solely helped this patient. So there's too many factors involved for us to single some variable out to say that it's acupuncture. And this is led to us by emotion. And this is called the fundamental attribution error, when we believe that something is the cause of our outcome. The placebo effect is the felt improvement in health that is not attributable to the medication, or in this case, acupuncture. Research shows that the treatment for smokers through acupuncture had no effect on their smoking habits, but rather, it's unless that the patients believe in acupuncture and are motivated to stop the craving for nicotine and smoking, that they actually stop, and that acupuncture had no effect on their habits. So in acupuncture, again, the placebo effect is an elaborate system that involves lying down, relaxing with health professionals, medical equipment. Also, appointments need to be made for you to have a treatment. And this is likely to be through referrals, posters, or medical magazines, and these are all highly influential to the placebo effect. The next knowledge issue that I mentioned is pseudoscience and science. So pseudoscience it claims the status of science while lacking its substance, and the substance here is research or supporting material or evidence. So today, the scientific explanation for acupuncture is that it releases a natural opium pain reliever in the brain. This is called endorphins, and it puts your mind off the pain that you originally have. The psychological explanation is that it diverts the attention of your pain to another environment. For example, the needling sensation, expectation, mutual consensus between the doctor and the patient, compliance demand, emotional investment, money investment, because you have to invest in the treatment for you to feel better. So the mind is put into a state of believing in the treatment, so you would think it works. But is this convincing? We need to formulate a hypothesis and conduct controlled experiments to prove this. In the past, results of these acupuncture treatments are inconsistent and thus unconvincing. Results not only need to be accurate, but reliable and precise. So another reason why acupuncture cannot be labeled as a science is because of its research. It's biased. There's a paradigm is a set of interrelated ideas of making sense of different parts, aspects of reality with reference of our past knowledge, our preliminary knowledge. So this leads to knowledge filter. A paradigm traps us into thinking and looking at things in a certain way. When we only favor information that falls in line with what we believe in and ignore things that don't fall in line with what you believe in, this is called confirmation bias. And this is a problem in many of the research. In studies in China and other Oriental countries, the results for acupuncture effectiveness are all positive. It's argued to be not culturally acceptable to publish negative results, as it causes researchers to lose face and ultimately their job. Also, a recent survey conducted by the U.S. National Institute of Health shows that no acupuncture trials published in China are found to be ineffective. So the past researches are too vague and it's difficult to falsify. And there are a lot of ad hoc exceptions. These are claims to not work in the experiment. For example, the patient's too tired, the medical equipment's working well, the patient's not relaxed enough. These are all exceptions to prove that the experiment did not work and therefore results in a positive, effective treatment. And that's not right, because hypothesis needs to be clearly stated and no exceptions can be made when counterexamples are found. Natural sciences need to have a scientific method and they need to have repeatable, measurable experiments to either falsify or confirm the results. In this case, acupuncture is very difficult to set up an experiment to test its effectiveness because the human body is too complex and our systems work together and they're not independent of each other. They work together to form your body. And therefore, it's very difficult to control a fair experiment as there are too many variables involved and there's no constant. So although there are no research to this day that falsifies the effect of acupuncture, it's almost impossible to prove that acupuncture works. As previously mentioned, there are too many factors involved in the human body to determine this. The research done so far is not very convincing, as they are not controlled and there are no constants, thus lowering its reliability and ability to be replicated. It's important for us to ask ourselves and question information handed to us, especially secondhand knowledge, to test our ways of knowing against each other in order to establish the truth. Thank you.
Hey, any questions from the audience?
Would you think that it's convincing or not?
For me personally, I think acupuncture is not convincing for me because personally I've undergone the treatment and my back pain still hasn't, I still don't feel better. But I also think that the results from the experiments aren't convincing enough to prove to me that it's a science and it works.
Hey, Dan?
Do you believe in chi?
Yes, I believe in chi. I think, again, the human body is very complex, but I think there is a certain energy in which the energy flows in, but there again is no science in this, and therefore it could be a pseudoscience.
Would it be more right to say that your conclusion that acupuncture is not convincing stems more from your personal experience in a failed acupuncture treatment rather than your analysis of it?
Well, personally, I've been looking at acupuncture for quite a long time, and out of curiosity, I decided to undergo the treatment to see how it goes. I've undergone the treatment with an open mind to see how it works. However, through more in-depth research, I found that the results are indeed not convincing enough for me, and it's not reliable for me to believe that it actually works.
Can I ask a quick question, linked to Ernest's question? You've shown us very convincingly that perhaps acupuncture isn't scientific, it can't be proven. However, is that the same thing as saying it isn't valid, it doesn't work?
I think in order to prove something that doesn't work, it needs to be falsified. And so far, there are no research that falsifies this, and therefore, I don't think I can say that it's not valid.
Any other questions? No. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Good.